This story begins 2 years after the first film, shortly after World War II has ended. Korpi's family had been killed in the Karelia region, a place that originally belonged to Finland but came under Nazi control during the war. By this time, Korpi had become very wealthy thanks to all the gold he had found, so he left his country and traveled into the city of Karelia. He eventually found his old home, still standing exactly the way it had been after the war. Inside, Korpi discovered a photograph of his wife and 2 sons. The moment he saw it, he became overwhelmed, standing silently as memories of them rushed back. He had arrived in his truck. Meanwhile, the story cuts to a Siberian prison where a prisoner was being kept. The man was taken out and we learn his name is Igor. General Wick had come to speak with him. Wick reminded Igor that he had entered Finland with his Nazi unit and on their way back, they had burned several villages. During that mission, Igor had murdered a family, a woman and her 2 sons, and chopped their bodies into pieces. That family belonged to Atomic Korpi, a Finnish commando who had once killed 300 men on his own and became a legend. Now that Korpi had returned to their territory, Wick wanted Igor to eliminate him. Otherwise Korpi would keep hunting them down and kill even more of their men. Igor eventually agreed. Back on Korpi's side, he was outside counting the wooden logs from his old house. He began separating the good ones, lifting and stacking them with a rope machine he had brought with him. It was hard labor, but Korpi had always been the type to do everything himself. After gathering the usable wood, he loaded it onto his truck and burned the leftover scraps. Then he began his journey home, about 120 kilometers away, to rebuild a new house in memory of his family. While driving, Korpi glanced at the photo of his wife and sons inside the truck. Suddenly, 2 officers stopped him. Korpi noticed another truck pulling up behind them and instantly understood that these men weren't planning to let him go. One officer approached, so Korpi calmly handed over his license. That officer passed the ID to the man inside the truck behind them, Igor. Igor checked the ID and confirmed Korpi's identity. Looking at the logs in Korpi's truck, Igor smirked and said that from the legend he'd heard, Korpi must have loved his old house. He suggested they end everything along with that last piece of Korpi's past. The officers began moving toward him. One prepared a bottle of alcohol to set the truck ablaze, while another came from behind with a gun, ready to kill him. As they moved in, Korpi suddenly swung open his door and shot one of them dead, then reversed his truck and crushed the officer behind him. He sped away, but one officer managed to climb into the truck. Korpi fought him until the man was knocked unconscious. Igor sent one of his larger trucks after him. Korpi noticed that the soldier inside his own truck had a gun but no bullets. When the soldier woke up, Korpi ordered him to load it. Once loaded, Korpi took the gun and continued driving while Igor's convoy stayed close behind. Korpi eventually stopped the truck. The soldier tried to escape, but Igor's guards caught up and shot him dead. Korpi then stepped out and killed all the guards one by one. He aimed at Igor's vehicle next. Igor asked for a gun, but Korpi shot the soldier trying to hand him one. Igor had no weapon, so Korpi spared him and simply punctured the tires of his vehicle. At this point, Korpi still didn't know that Igor was the man who murdered his family. Korpi drove off. Enraged, Igor grabbed a radio and called in his special biker unit, ordering them to chase Korpi. Once his own tire was repaired, Igor took off as well. Korpi tried changing routes to shake them off, but Igor quickly read his strategy. Soon Igor and his bikers were speeding toward him. The bikers got close, and although Korpi fired at them, their metal helmets protected them. Their bullets did hit Korpi, and one shot caused his truck to crash into the bushes. Injured but still functional, Korpi got the truck back on the road. A biker climbed onto the roof. Korpi dodged his attacks, threw him off, and the man grabbed a hanging rope, swinging back. Korpi flung him again, and this time Igor's vehicle crushed him as it passed. Another soldier aimed a shotgun at Korpi, but Korpi caused an accident with his truck that killed the soldier instantly. Another biker climbed onto the roof. Korpi tried to shake him off, but the man managed to dangle Korpi out of the truck. Korpi fought back, killed him, then grabbed another guard and hurled him off. That guard got tangled in one of the ropes. Korpi fed the rope into the machine, tightening it until it slit the man's throat. Now every biker was dead. Furious, Igor ordered an explosion to ignite Korpi's logs. Korpi responded by strapping dynamite to the dead guard still stuck on the truck. He threw the body onto Igor's car. Igor dove out just before the explosion destroyed his vehicle completely. Korpi drove into the forest and used leaves to smother the burning logs. Igor, still fuming, sent in his deadliest weapons next. Korpi stopped to check the logs. Some were slightly burned. He poured water into his cooler, fed his dog, and rested. That's when he realized a bullet earlier had lodged metal fragments into his cheek, but he was still functioning fine. Soon he spotted planes overhead, the ones Igor had deployed. Korpi put his dog back in the truck and sped off. The planes flew past him. Korpi accelerated, but one swooped down and attacked. He swerved through gunfire and saw a house with a garage. He drove inside to hide but knew it wouldn't last. He spotted a dense forest ahead and a large wooden plank. He placed the plank on top of his truck as a shield. The pilots performed low-flight maneuvers and fired missiles, destroying the entire garage, but Corpy had already escaped. The planes shot at him, but the wooden plank shielded him. Corpy drove into the forest where the planes couldn't track him easily. One plane eventually spotted him by flying low, tilted its wings sideways and fired directly at him. Corpy slammed the brakes. The wing struck the truck, destroying the aircraft instantly. Corpy kept going until he reached the edge of the forest. He checked for the second plane but didn't see it at first. As he drove across open land, the plane spotted him and swooped in. It fired again, but this time the pilot was out of bullets. Furious, he flew the entire aircraft straight toward Corpy's truck. Corpy snapped the ropes holding the logs and dumped them across the road. The plane slid over the logs and veered off, exploding on impact. The pilot ejected with a parachute. While Corpy began loading the logs back onto his truck, the pilot started shooting at him again. Corpy, fed up, marched toward him, but the pilot suddenly started laughing. Corpy turned and saw a massive bomber heading straight for the area. He shoved the logs into the truck and sped off. The pilot assumed Corpy wouldn't survive, but the bomber dropped explosives across the entire area, and some even fell near the pilot. Huge explosions erupted everywhere. Corpy swerved through the chaos, then drove straight into the water. The truck began sinking fast. Corpy struggled to breathe but first pushed his dog out to safety. Then he swam up himself. The logs were sinking with the truck, so Corpy dove back down, untied the ropes and freed them. They shot upward to the surface. While freeing them, he lost consciousness underwater. The logs surfaced. His dog searched frantically, and one log lifted Corpy up, saving his life. The dog spotted him as Corpy slowly regained consciousness. He had saved his dog and all his logs were safe as well. By evening, Igor arrived at the site with his team. When he asked what was below the surface, the guard explained that the truck was underwater. Igor then asked if the body of the soldier named Arby was there, but the men reported there was no body and no logs. Igor realized Corpy had already escaped with both. He said he expected more resistance from him, but Corpy still had a long way to go before reaching Finland. Meanwhile, across the sea, night had fallen. Corpy used his remaining logs to build a raft and crossed to the opposite shore with his dog. As he moved inland, he spotted a tank near the coastline, and seeing it made him genuinely happy. Inside the tank, he also discovered several weapons. Corpy secured everything, attached his logs to the top of the tank and prepared for battle. Not far from there was the Soviet-Finland border, where Igor had already arrived and was waiting. There was only one route through, so he stayed positioned, expecting Corpy to come. Soon he heard a distant rumble and knew exactly who it was. Igor prepared to kill him. Corpy approached in the tank, logs tied on top. Igor spotted him through the sight lines, and his soldiers took their positions to attack. Corpy climbed into the main control seat, activated the cannon, and drove forward. Soldiers opened fire, but Corpy ignited a trail of gasoline behind the tank, creating a blazing line of fire. He accelerated at full speed. He had also planted several bombs ahead of time. When they detonated, the explosions launched the tank across the border and onto the Finland side. But the landing shattered the tank's treads, trapping Corpy inside. Igor was thrilled. Corpy was badly injured and exhausted. He took out his knife, removed the wooden handle from the blade, and freed his dog from the tank. The dog crossed the border first, stepping into Finland. Corpy collapsed out of the wrecked tank. Igor grabbed him immediately. He was about to kill him, but General Rek arrived with his men. They needed Corpy alive. Igor dragged him over and handed him to Rek. Igor then said, "There's no place like home," and kicked Corpy unconscious. That night, they loaded Corpy onto a train heading back into Russia. They hung him upside down and beat him repeatedly as the train moved. Corpy lost a massive amount of blood. Igor approached and spoke to him. He told Corpy he didn't know him personally, but he was the reason Corpy became who he was. He bragged about killing thousands of women and children, claiming he barely remembered any of them, just their screams. But he remembered one boy. When he went to kill the boy's mother and brother, the boy stabbed him and nearly blinded him. Rex said he recognized the wood used in the attack. It came from Corpy's home. That boy was Corpy's son. Rex called him brave like his father. Then he confessed that he murdered Corpy's son, along with his wife and other child, chopped their remains and fed them to dogs. Igor could have stayed silent, but instead he awakened the sleeping lion. He added that he had never feared Corpy, his superiors had. And now they would torture Corpy for days. He reminded Corpy that he created him, killed his family, and would make him rot in prison forever. After saying this, Igor walked away. Corpy grew furious. He hooked his feet above the rope and used all his strength to snap it, crashing hard onto the train's floor. The guards heard the noise. Before entering, they played rock, paper, scissors to decide who would kill him. Earlier, Corpy had hidden the knife blade under his skin after removing the wooden handle. He pulled the blade out. When the first guard came in to kill him, Corpy attacked and tortured him. Another guard realized what had happened and, terrified, chose to jump off the moving train instead. Corpy tossed the guns aside and prepared himself for revenge. Meanwhile, Igor was forced to sit and enjoy dinner with Rek and the other generals, a situation he hated. Igor demanded his reward so he could leave, but Rek said he'd get it after they spent time celebrating. They drank heavily and Igor grew increasingly irritated. At the same time, Korpi slipped into another train car where his logs were stored. Igor had loaded them there earlier. He moved forward silently. Some soldiers were sleeping. One woke up, so Korpi quickly shifted to another coach. A soldier stepped outside to relieve himself, returned, spotted Korpi, threw an axe and silenced him permanently. Another soldier saw Korpi and got stabbed immediately. Many soldiers remained asleep. Korpi moved forward, but someone dropped a bottle of alcohol. Another soldier started waking up because of the noise from the bodies behind them. Korpi crawled under a compartment to hide. Shards of broken glass fell around him, but none cut him. His hand got caught in a mousetrap, creating more noise. More soldiers began waking. Korpi grabbed his axe, climbed out and locked the door behind him. He checked the next car. Many officers were awake, so Korpi climbed onto the roof of the train and moved forward. But an iron rod struck him, knocking him straight down into the officer's compartment. Every soldier charged at him. Korpi exploded into action, killing them all with brutal speed. He grabbed a machine gun and shredded one guard after another. The gunfire echoed through the train and Igor heard it from the front car. Korpi finished every guard inside with bullets in close combat. Igor stepped outside his compartment, saw the flashes from the gunfire, and immediately understood Korpi had escaped. Igor detached the front coach from the rest of the train and moved forward alone. After killing everyone, Korpi was ready to finish Igor, but Igor simply said, "Bye," and escaped forward with the detached engine. Korpi noticed something covered nearby. When he pulled back the cloth, he found a missile. Meanwhile, Igor returned to Rek. As soon as he entered, Igor stabbed one officer, grabbed a gun and killed all the remaining generals. He pointed the shotgun at Rek, who held up the money Igor had been promised. Igor smirked, said, "This is what I brought for you," and blasted Rek with the shotgun. He then calmly poured himself a drink. Meanwhile, soldiers broke down the door of the separated coach. They saw their section had stopped. Korpi had already taken the missile and was racing toward Igor. Igor admired the cash, thrilled. Then the ground beneath him began to shake. A missile was rapidly approaching. Igor realized something was wrong. Korpi was charging with the missile. When Korpi reached the train, he stopped the missile's wheels, but its momentum hurled him forward, crashing him directly into Igor. Korpi unleashed all his fury. Igor fought back, beating him down. Korpi was severely weakened from torture, and Igor slammed him to the floor before grabbing the money and trying to walk away, but Korpi rose again. Igor grabbed him and tried to kill him. Korpi stabbed him in the leg with a fork. Igor tried to stab Korpi with the same fork and even choked him, but Korpi knocked him down again. Igor lifted an iron rod and struck Korpi repeatedly. Korpi was drenched in blood. Igor mocked him, saying he expected a big explosion if Korpi really wanted revenge. Then he threw Korpi out of the train car. The missile was still attached to the train. Korpi noticed it. Igor stepped outside and mocked him again, asking if he had any last words. Korpi spit out a screw, the same screw that had been holding the missile in place. Now the missile was free. It shot forward toward Igor, then suddenly shut off and stopped right in front of him. Korpi had already detached the back coaches and fallen far behind. The train moved ahead due to the missile's earlier momentum. Igor survived and breathed in relief, until the missile restarted and launched straight into his mouth. A massive explosion tore the front of the train apart. Korpi watched from afar, satisfied that Igor had died brutally. 2 days later, at a station near the Finland border, guards heard a strange sound. They moved forward with guns and found Korpi returning with his logs. They captured him, but when he handed over his ID, they read his name and realized who he was. This was Korpi, the legend. The guards saluted him. A few days later, Korpi was building his new home with his dog, using the logs he'd fought so hard to bring back. As he worked, his dog barked. Several nearby villagers were approaching. Korpi prepared to fight, but they told him they had come to help with the building. Hearing this, Korpi became emotional. It had been a long time since anyone had helped him. The villagers understood and all stepped forward to assist with the house. Korpi broke down. And with that, this incredible film comes to an end. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you never miss any of the exciting content coming your way. Every new video is made with you in mind, and I'd love to have you here for the journey. See you in the next one.